The following is a world-class Bullshitters exclusive.
Everybody loves a good verbal bitch slap, especially when it's to one of the worst things to happen to cinema, Rian Johnson. More on that in just a moment. If you're new here or find yourself to be a member of the Rian Johnson Enthusiast Anonymous of America, well, be warned. For he is the man who ruined Luke Skywalker, and I'm not very happy with him. Since the release of The Last Jedi, there has been a battle for Star Wars with stakes higher than anything featured in the films. At the heart of the conflict was the massive fan backlash for the treatment of Luke Skywalker by the coward Rian Johnson. In his film, Star Wars The Last Jedi, Rian Johnson managed to ruin Luke Skywalker to the point where he died of embarrassment at the end of the movie. You're telling me he died from using the Force? That's not how the Force works. Outside of that god-awful character-ending moment, almost everything else from The Last Jedi is equally bad. You know what? It would be a lot easier for me to list all of the positive qualities of The Last Jedi. Let's try it. Number 1. It ends. See? I knew I could do it. I find your lack of faith disturbing. Yes, we've been lamenting The Last Jedi since it ruined Star Wars at the end of 2017, but the problem with Disney Star Wars goes deeper than that bad film. It would be unreasonable to be mad over a bad movie for that long. It's not like it's Indiana Jones 4 or anything. I gotta stop. What pissed everyone off wasn't just the way Luke was treated on film, but in the real world by that jabroni Rian Johnson. Awkward moments, subtle digs, and tense interviews were the norm. In the media surrounding The Last Jedi, and more often than not, it was Luke Skywalker that was treated the worst. Yes, the hero of Star Wars was treated like an afterthought because of Rey and her Force-sensitive clam. Fans were appalled by the lack of respect paid to Luke Skywalker, and then they spoke up. Thankfully, Luke Skywalker himself spoke up too. The last few years have been full of Mark Hamill tweets questioning The Last Jedi or making jokes at the film's expense. Even after he stated that he regretted making the creative differences public, those creative differences must have been a lot to get Mark Hamill to act out like that. If only we knew what those creative differences were. If we could only figure out what those problems were. Oh well. Those secrets are lost to time. For as shocking as it must be for those 9 members of the Rian Johnson Enthusiast Club of America, Rian Johnson wasn't the victim of this situation. It wasn't like Mark Hamill was this grumpy old man yelling at a cloud named Rian Johnson. No, that asshole Rian Johnson hit right back. But it didn't stop there. Rian Johnson shat on Luke Skywalker, the fans, Star Wars legacy, and was told that he was the hero the entire time. I call bullshit. Time hasn't been too kind to Rian Johnson's interpretation of Star Wars. From the day it was released, everyone hated it. Then the media tried to make excuses for it. All the fans wanted was justice for Luke Skywalker's character. They wanted to see him redeemed since The Last Jedi. For years we were told we were wrong, in incredibly harsh terms too. But then the data showed that Star Wars films keep making less money at the box office, and then Disney realized they needed to do something to keep those toxic man-babies, because they're the lifeblood of the franchise. The Mandalorian, someone's attempt at fixing things, ended up with a surprise that caught everyone off guard. Luke Skywalker. He was back and badder than ever. In the late 80s, early 90s sense of the word. He didn't suck. Personal opinions of the technology aside, the scene was pretty cool. Upon further analysis, it didn't make much sense since The Last Jedi still happens, but I'm not a rain cloud here to piss on people's parade, so if you enjoy it, good. When my favorite character Han Solo came back in Episode 9, all he did was hug his son and try to talk some sense into him. I know he was dead, but you know what? Fuck that entire trilogy. Fans united around the return of Luke Skywalker, and the excitement was palpable. The sentiment of thank the maker was real, now if only the oil baths were. It would seem fitting, for Disney Star Wars anyway, to end on a down note. Thankfully, the real world is tired of the bullshit, and Luke Skywalker gets a happy ending. Not in that way. Keep your dirty Dianoga to yourself. Mark Hamill dunks on Rian Johnson, The Last Jedi, and the whole Disney sequel trilogy. Actor Mark Hamill recently dunked on Rian Johnson in The Last Jedi while thanking director Peyton Reed for the final episode of The Mandalorian Season 2. Hamill's comments came after The Mandalorian director Peyton Reed thanked Mark Hamill for working with him. Reed wrote, "Dear Mark Hamill, when I was a kid, this photo hung on my bedroom wall. Star Wars, and Luke Skywalker in particular, meant a great deal to me. Some things never change." He added, "It was an honor and a dream come true to work with you on The Mandalorian. Thank you." Hamill replied on Twitter, where he threw a double dose of shade at Johnson in The Last Jedi when he wrote, "Dear Peyton Reed, I am so grateful to have been given the unexpected opportunity to revisit my character when he was still a symbol of hope and optimism. Your assured direction and kindness was a crucial element in this experience and means more to me than I can say. Thank you." First, if it wasn't obvious, Hamill was clearly implying that his version of Luke Skywalker seen in The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker is no longer a symbol of hope and optimism. This isn't the first time Hamill has thrown shade at the entire sequel trilogy, and it probably won't be the last. Back in September of 2019, he made fun of The Force Awakens when he responded to the official Star Wars Twitter account counting down their favorite Luke Skywalker quotes. Hamill shared an 11th quote from The Force Awakens, the movie where Luke Skywalker has no lines. Hamill has also repeatedly criticized Luke Skywalker's depiction throughout the sequel trilogy. In March of 2019, he criticized The Force Awakens for killing off Han Solo. Hamill stated, "I just thought Luke's never going to see his best friend again. You look at it in a self-centered way. I said, that was a big mistake, that those three people would never reunite in any way. I guess I was wrong, because nobody seems to care." He also says, "I have to stipulate that I care, but it didn't really seem to affect the larger audience. Luke, Han, and Leia will never be together again, and I'll probably never get to work with Harrison again." He then took issue with The Last Jedi, explaining, "Then a second thing was that they killed me off. I thought, oh okay, you should push my death off to the last one. That's what I was hoping for when I came back. No cameos and a run of the trilogy contract. Did I get any of those things? Because as far as I'm concerned, the end of 7 is really the beginning of 8. I got one movie. They totally hornswoggled me." In fact, Hamill has pointed out that Rian Johnson instructed him to completely ignore C-3PO, but Hamill himself insisted Luke would not do that. He explained, "They had me walking by 3PO, not even acknowledging him. I said, I can't do that." Rian Johnson said, "Okay, go over there and do whatever." So I went over and did whatever. They say in the script, forget the past, kill it if you have to, and they're doing a pretty good job. In August of 2018, Hamill made it clear he didn't understand why Luke had given up in The Last Jedi. A fan asked Hamill and Rian Johnson, why did Luke give up in The Last Jedi? What other events made Luke give up? From what we know, Luke made one mistake and he gave up. That really doesn't make sense. Could you please help me understand? Hamill replied, "When I understand, I'll let you know." So it's quite obvious Hamill is definitely contrasting the version that shows up in The Mandalorian Season 2 with the version Lucasfilm gave us in the sequel trilogy. So it's possible that Hamill might not only be dunking on the sequel trilogy, but also Rian Johnson as a person. What do you make of Hamill's comments? I love when assholes get their comeuppance. This is better than anything we could have ever said to Rian Johnson. Mark Hamill doing this is like getting the last laugh, and he who laughs last, laughs best. To Rian Johnson, I don't have to tell you I hate you. Society is already doing a good job at letting you know how it feels. And if you think that's bad, just wait until you see how history remembers you. Spoiler alert, it won't. So folks, what do you think of how Peyton Reed treated Mark Hamill, aka Luke Skywalker? It's kind of refreshing and different. It is a new world. It does feel surprising to have someone not try to dunk on Luke Skywalker. You know what? It's cool to like Luke Skywalker then. It's still cool to like Luke Skywalker now. Because Luke Skywalker did not need to be treated like that. It just was never right. And personally, I'm glad it's over. So folks, tell me what you think about the Luke Skywalker situation. Tell me what you thought about him showing up at the end of Mandalorian. I was surprised too. You can go back and listen to our videos, our live streams where we talk about the Mandalorian ad nauseum. If you want that, make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss out on any of it. Also, make sure you're signed up for the Indiegogo, link is in the description below, for the comic book, the Fandom Menace edition of Stealing Solo, a Captain's Parody, with a cover drawn by me and painted by Anna, that Star Wars girl. That link is in the description and it'll be going live very soon, so make sure you watch all of our videos and all of our live streams to be caught up on all the information. Folks, I'm gonna go. I got another video to make, but this feels good. This feels like a step in the right direction. So I'm gonna leave happy, but I'm gonna say the same thing I do no matter good or bad. No matter where you go, no matter what you do, always be excellent to each other.